Mübarek olsun. Tekrardan Allah.
Today, the 3 holy months, with the beginning of the blessed month of Rajab, have started. May it be blessed to all of us. And we are thankful to Allah Almighty to have reached these 3 holy months. The holy month of Rajab is a month about which Allah Almighty has said, the month of Rajab is my month. The month of Shaban is the month of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And Ramadan is the blessed month of the Ummah. These are blessed months. And we are thankful to Allah Almighty that He has made us to reach these months. We have reached these holy 3 months in safety and with faith. We give thanks to Allah Almighty 1,000 times endlessly. We are grateful to Allah Almighty that He made us to be this way, that He made us to be believers, and that He has preserved our faith. We must know that only what Allah Almighty wills happens, and if there's something He does not will, it will not happen. And we are thankful to Allah Almighty that we are not like the people of last night. And we must be thankful for everything and for this too. May Allah Almighty forgive them. And may Allah Almighty shower His mercy on all of us.
Olan yerde tövbe istiğfar yapmak lazım. Başkası bile yapsan gene tövbe istiğfar.
We must always seek Allah Almighty's forgiveness. We must not only seek Allah Almighty's forgiveness for our wrongdoings, but also if we are in a place where wrongdoings or sins are being committed, we must there too ask, and for that too, we must ask Allah Almighty for forgiveness and pardon.
Hepimize lazım olur. Yapılan günahlara kendimizi yükseltmemiz, başkalarını değiliz.
We are in need of Allah Almighty's forgiveness, and we are in need in asking Allah Almighty for forgiveness. We are not happy with our own wrongdoings, nor are we happy with the wrongdoings of others. We are not satisfied with anyone committing sins.
Allah affetsin bizi.
Therefore, may Allah Almighty forgive us.
Hepimize merhamet etsin.
May Allah Almighty shower His mercy on all of us.
Hidayet versin.
And may Allah Almighty grant His guidance.
Nimettir.
Guidance is the greatest divine favor.
Allah'a yolda olmak en büyük nimettir.
To be rightly guided, to be guided to follow the way of Allah Almighty is the greatest blessing.
Olmayanlara da hidayet versin.
And those who have not yet received that blessing of following the way of Allah Almighty, may Allah Almighty guide them.
Acımak lazım.
One must feel sorry for those who do not follow the way of Allah Almighty.
Çünkü onlara Allah kısmını.
Because those who do not follow the way of Allah Almighty are the ones who have not been blessed with the divine guidance.
Biz de onlar gibi olabilirdik.
And it is only through Allah Almighty's grace that one follows the way of Allah Almighty. It is not us who makes us follow the way of Allah Almighty. We ourselves could have been the ones who do not follow the way of Allah Almighty. So we are thankful to Allah Almighty that He made us to follow His way.
Allah bazı keremiyle inşallah sabit kalan olup
And may Allah Almighty, by His grace and by His mercy, make us to be steadfast in His following His way,
dünyadan çıkana kadar
and may we preserve our faith until we leave this world.
onun yolunda olalım inşallah.
And may we follow the way of Allah Almighty until we leave this world.
Şeytana uymayın.
Do not follow shaitan.
Hilelerine
Don't be deceived by shaitan's tricks and traps.
ve kötü şeyleri güzel göstermene
Don't let yourselves be deceived by shaitan's showing bad things as good things.
kandırmayın inşallah. Onun dua ediyoruz bu mübarek günümüzü Ramazan'ın iftarlarının geldiğinden.
And we ask Allah Almighty for this protection and guidance on the first day of the beginning of the holy 3 months,
Mühim olan şeyler bunlardır.
because this is what is important.
Onların yaptıkları onlara onların yaptıkları da yani hidayet olsa Allah onların kısmet etse onlar da yapmazdı. Ama Allah'ın iradesine karışılmaz.
And we must appreciate and be aware that it is only through Allah Almighty's divine will and Him enabling us to follow His way that we actually follow His way. If the others were also preordained by the will of Allah Almighty to follow His way, they would also follow the way of Allah Almighty. But therefore we must never forget that it is not us who makes us follow Allah Almighty's way, but it is Him, Allah Almighty, who makes us be rightly guided and follow His way. He, Almighty Allah, does as He wills,
Allah'ın hikmetine karışılmaz. Allah
and nobody can interfere with Allah Almighty's guidance and wisdom.
bildiğini kendi bilir.
And only He, Almighty Allah, knows what He knows.
Haşa onun işine karışamayız.
No one can interfere with Allah Almighty's affairs.
Bazen insanlar derler, ben şey olsam ne yaparım? Bütün insanlara hidayet, bütün insanları şey yapayım. Sen öyle istersen, sen Allah'ın Azze ve Celle başka şey istemiş. Allah Azze ve Celle hikmetine sual olmaz.
There are people who say, if I had the power, I would make everyone to be rightly guided. I would change how things are, and I would change things to the way that everyone would be rightly guided. But we must be careful, because we cannot interfere with how things are, and it is through Allah Almighty's will that things are the way they are.
Allah kimseye zulmetmez.
And we must know that there's always a reason and a wisdom behind things, and Allah Almighty never oppresses or tyrannizes anyone.
Kimseye haksızlık etmez. Yani
And Allah Almighty never does injustice to anyone.
Allah Azze ve Celle'nin ayıdır bu ay. Allah Azze ve Celle iman edip onun işlerine böyle olur demeyin. Allah yolunda olun.
This now today marks the beginning of the holy month that Allah Almighty has declared to be His month. This today is the beginning of the holy month of Rajab, and we should not interfere with Allah Almighty's affairs, but instead do what is our duty. We should occupy and busy ourselves with serving Allah Almighty, and we should not occupy with affairs and talking about things which are not our affairs.
Allah'ın emrettiği gibi olun. Allah'a şükredin. Bütün vakit Allah'a şükredin. Size sabit kadam kılsın.
Be the way Allah Almighty ordered you to be, and always be thankful to Allah Almighty.
Bu yolda ayağımızı kaydırmasın.
Be thankful to Allah Almighty and ask Allah Almighty for protection to not do a wrong step on this way.
Muhafaza etsin.
May Allah Almighty protect us.
Hayırlı mübarek olsun. Ümmeten hayırlı olsun inşallah.
May these 3 holy months that have now begun be a blessing to the entire Ummah.
Sahip bekleriz.
And we are waiting Mahdi alayhi salam.
Ne kadar dünyanın hali kötüdür.
This world is not in a good state.
Onu ıslah edecek olan sahip
This world is in a bad state, and it is Mahdi alayhi salam who will transform this world into a good state.
Mehdi Aleyhisselam gelmesini Allah'tan niyaz ederiz.
And we must pray and ask Allah Almighty to send Mahdi alayhi salam.
Allah göndersin. Ümmet.
May Allah Almighty send Mahdi alayhi salam. He is the head of the Ummah, because now the Ummah, they don't have a head.
Mübarek eylesin bu günlerimizi.
And may Allah Almighty bless these days now.
Bereketli olsun, hayırlı olsun.
May these days be abundant of Allah Almighty's divine favors and mercy. And may these days in this holy month be the reason for goodness to occur.